Congressman Espaillat joins me now. Sir, this is what the National Republican Congressional Committee said to defend their racist statement about you, their lie. Democrats care more about policing words and fighting facts instead of policing our border and fighting crime. Shows just how out of touch they are. It seems to me that they have to talk about this because they can't talk about the economy and housing or the fact they want to cut Medicaid. This was sickening to see. I'm just wondering, 24 hours later, what are your Republican colleagues saying? Well,
it's funny that the bulk of my rebuttal was about Medicaid and Medicare, because 525,000 of my constituents are Medicaid patients and 108,000 are Medicare patients. So out of the 780,000 people that I represent, over 600,000 of them are Medicaid or Medicare. But you see, Elon Musk and Donald Trump got this telenovela going on, and behind the scenes, these are the issues and the proposals that they're pushing to cut Medicaid and Medicare. And apparently they didn't have a substantive response to my rebuttal, and so they went ahead and they called me an illegal immigrant. So that's where they're at. But it's not just about me. It's about anybody that doesn't look like they look, I guess. It's a profile that they got. I met last week with Leader Jeffries and a young man who's an American citizen who was stopped and questioned by ICE on his way to work with a federal ID on him. He works at the airport, and he was stopped and questioned for 2 hours, and a local police officer, New York City police officer, had to tell him, look, he has an ID, call his job. So this is what's going on in America. This is the state of business in America. And of course, the Republican campaign committee couldn't resist but to join in.
The young man that you and Leader Jeffries met with, he was an American citizen, had American ID, so what prompted him being stopped?
Well, they got swept out of a train station. They got pulled aside with 15 other people, and he got questioned for over 2 hours. He was late to work. He kept on telling them he was, he was a U.S. citizen. His wife is a U.S. citizen. His kids are U.S. citizens. And yet they questioned him, and all they had to say was these kind of IDs are forged in neighborhoods like this all the time. So this is the state of affairs in America. And so, of course, the Republican Party feels empowered to say things like this, although privately, some of them have come up to me and apologized.
But no public apology yet from the
That's
NRCC. I am struck by the fact that while this is happening, I just played this sound in the last block. Rick Scott, a senator from Florida, who has a history with cutting Medicaid and defrauding situations, if we can just be frank, was at a conference that he held today and spoke very openly about the fact that, yeah, he thinks that Republicans are going to have to put forward cuts to Social Security and Medicaid. You have the former commissioner of the Social Security Administration saying that next month payments may not come out. Medicare, Social Security hasn't missed a payment in 80 years. These are real things happening for people all across the country. Housing costs, the cost at the grocery store are high. But this is what they choose to focus on. This a narrow majority that they have. Do you think that this puts Democrats on stronger footing to take back the House this fall?
Oh, no question about it. I think that the trend is in that direction. I think that we have to be firm, and we have to show the American people we're fighting for them. So I have these Medicaid recipients, people that live in my district. I got to fight for them. They got to know that I'm fighting for them every day. And, next week is going to be a big week. I think we hold our ground next week really strong. It's a 5-member margin. And you know that at any time there are 5 Republicans of any persuasion that will join in and debunk their agenda.
You don't think any Democrats should vote for whatever is put forward next week, whether it's a clean CR or the actual budget?
Well, I got to see the details of whatever is brought up. But I tell you, if it's a long-term CR that empowers them to gut Medicaid and Medicare and food stamps, it's 220,000 households in the district that get food stamps. So if they're going to touch these basic services that are keeping my families in place, I'm going to fight back, and I will not vote for a long CR that empowers Trump and Elon Musk to take Medicaid and Medicare away from the American people.
Before I let you go, this is what Al Green, Representative Al Green, was standing up and protesting at that joint address of Congress. 10 Democrats voted to censure him today, along with Republicans. Why?
Well, look, dissent is patriotic. It is right at the center of democracy. Al Green was dissenting with what President Trump was saying, and I think that's patriotic. Yet, you know, they call people illegal immigrants, all kinds of names, and yet that decorum is fine. Double standard.
Double standard. Representative Adriano Espaillat, thank you so much for joining me in the daytime hours today.
Thank you.
So
that's right.
Appreciate your time.